That one was just going to keep going. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel.
Hello.
And welcome back to Stargate Outpost. How are you, Sarah?
Mm-hmm. I'm doing good. Tomorrow's my
Good.
birthday, so.
Yeah, that's right. What y'all doing? Anything crazy special?
Well, Brett and I are going to do like a date night Friday night, and then Saturday we're kind of doing more of with other family members and stuff. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. Y'all ever do you have like a specific birthday meal or something that you get?
Not really.
Okay.
I'll do sushi maybe. That sounds good.
Sushi always wins. Just before we jump in, y'all, we do apologize for a little bit of the coordination. We wanted to do a kind of an expose on Jim Softy, and we will do it. Hopefully not next Wednesday. Hopefully we might be able to get to it Sunday or something. We might put a break in our Chevron Awards on Sunday. But we do have a really fun game to do instead today. Was our kind of backup topic just in case. Jay wasn't necessarily, I don't know if he wasn't feeling the best or what, but we didn't see him. And it is probably best to have as much information for that as possible. And we got a lot, but it's good to have it from the horse's mouth as well. So if you haven't gone to see those videos on Tachyon Pulse, go check out his 2 videos on Jennifer Salke's a little bit of an expose. But that will be. Oh, my door just opened. That kind of spooked me for a second. It was just a cat. But yeah, we got a fun game today, and we will do that in the very near future. But with the 2 of us here today, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this game. Have you ever thought about what kind of cool abilities you could have if you were in the Stargate world? Because yesterday I did just that. I saw just a little funny meme, and under all of these are a bunch of other characters like Batman, Deadpool, Spawn, V from V for Vendetta, a Power Ranger, so on and so forth, stuff like that. And it's choose one to wear a mask and gain all the abilities from the character who wears it. So pretend these people's faces are their masks, essentially.
Yeah.
And if you could be them in Stargate, who would you be and why? And let's talk about it. Because obviously there's a lot of different avenues you can take here. I can zoom in a little bit for everybody as well and go through the list.
Yeah.
We've got on the first row, the Coal Warrior, the Asgardian, the Wraith, or a Goa'uld. Then we've got a Prior, an Ori themselves, a Jaffa, a Nox on your second row. Your third row, a Replicator, Merlin, an ancient with a little extra pizzazz in him. It's not Lamplight. What is his name, y'all? Can y'all help us out? We were trying to think of it. What is Michael's name?
Dark.
Is it like Dark Star? Is it?
I can never remember.
Is it Darklight?
And then every time you hear it, it's like, oh, it's so obvious, but you can't remember it for some reason.
Oh, it's not Lamplight. Is it Last Flight?
Last Light.
I think that might be it.
Sounds closer to it.
I'll be offering because I'm a free guy. The woman on the bottom right has the power of nudity in SG-1. Hathor. She's also, after Michael, of course, Hathor over here is a Goa'uld queen. So we kind of put her where Spawn was, kind of jokingly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, which one would you choose if you got the ability of the user, essentially? If you got it. I meant Furling. Oh.
Furlings. I know I thought, but we don't really, well, I guess we have that, what was it, Wormhole Extreme version or whatever that was? Or was it 200? I always get those two mixed up. Anyway.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of different avenues to take here. What would be the one that you took just initially, like without thinking about it too hard, like just your initial thought? Like
Hathor.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine's honestly the Wraith. I'll go Todd in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
That or the Nox, because I wouldn't mind pacifism, but also just from that human perspective, obviously you would want to go help
Right.
like people and stuff, but being a Nox doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, they're pretty chill. That's kind of your vibe, I think.
I'm either chill or I'm going to suck your blood, one or the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like both those. 222, Damien, JT, Popcorn, Juliet, Alex, Traveler. Who are y'all gonna be? Let us know.
Mm-hmm.
This is more fun when you got all kinds of opinions. So toss everything you can at us. We want you to be crazy.
Right.
Like actually, we feel like this is honestly a pretty fun game. Because if you think about it, though, obviously that's your like first initial thing. If you thought about it, obviously she has the powers of a Goa'uld,
Mm-hmm.
but she's not just like a minor little Goa'uld
Right.
with cool powers, yada
Mm-hmm.
yada.
She spawns new Goa'uld, I guess.
Yeah,
And
and like you were talking about, has a certain
the
pheromone.
power to manipulate just men, I guess. It seems like. So if women hated me, I guess there'd be a problem. But
Yeah, I guess because it doesn't work on Sam at all, but
yeah,
still a handy power, honestly. At the end of the day,
yeah, mm-hmm.
She'd be pretty handy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if just a general wraith is something that I would stick with at the end of the day, but a Nox, I do like the idea of it. Long term, though,
Mm-hmm.
Asgard or old Lastlight, Michael, which is not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
David's with me. First choice without thinking would be Wraith. And Popcorn's not there. I mean, right there, too. Howdy, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Nox is the best power set without dying due to a fatal flaw. Heck, they even have the option for resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
Long term, honestly, them
But they're pacifists almost to a fault, though, is the only thing.
Because kind of the Priors and the Ori do have something similar, and they're not pacifists at least, so you do have to follow some kind of crazy religious doctrine, essentially. But you get almost kind of Force-like powers in a way. They're the Sith of Stargate in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they actually seem to have powers or whatever. They don't really explain. I mean, I assume it's probably like technology, since they show they are technologically advanced with the floating city or whatever.
It's got to be some kind of Oh, you're saying the Nox though?
Yeah, the Nox.
Okay.
Yeah, their abilities to heal, whatever that was. I think I don't know. Is it evolution or technology? But it could be either, I guess. Since the floating city, as I said. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nox are passive because they're powerful enough to afford that luxury.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. They can kind of check out.
Would the Ori be in a similar predicament? I guess not just yet, but after, if they were successful in taking over, would they have been in a similar predicament where, well, now they're pacifists because everybody's doing what they want?
I don't know,
that's a little bit of reach.
Unless the Ori kind of learned the lesson of like, there's things greater than power, like being at peace with the universe or whatever. And I don't know, since the Ori are just kind of like the flip side, like the ancients. They're sort of like ancients on one side, Ori on the other, right? I mean, they're basically like ancients that get their power from worship or something.
I don't know how to gauge the power at.
Right.
That is kind of confusing. Yeah.
I just think they're too power hungry to ever be pacifists. I think they want total domination. And it's hard for me to see like them changing that. Of course, this is assuming, Arc of Truth never happens or whatever, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Or I guess happened in a different way and it's not too successful for our team.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Tauri.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their power level. I don't understand. I guess the praise and the kind of old trope of Greek gods are as powerful as their worshiping base, or whatever kind of deal. It's kind of
Right.
symbolic.
Like somehow that faith in them is putting that energy out there that somehow they can
Well, because
take in and become more powerful.
yeah, Arnold just said not quite ascended. I guess lower level with tech.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Ori are kind of all just a bunch of Anubises, just not
Yeah.
to the level or pedigree of Anubis, I guess, or maybe more because they can do weirder, crazier things. I don't know if Anubis
Yeah.
could be just setting people on fire when he feels like it. I feel like he would do it more often if he could.
Right.
Is it a plot hole or is that just like a little
I think it might be a
inconsistency?
little bit of I don't know if we ever get a real clear, we just kind of get like they're religious fanatics. They want everyone to serve them. They get some kind of power. They get power from that. They punish people that don't want to worship them or serve them or whatever. They give the priors those staffs with the power that can make people sick, heal people.
Mm-hmm. Did they resurrect somebody?
I don't remember.
They knock so fast. The knocks would do my head too much power, hippie type shit. What a waste of
They
power.
definitely are kind of the hippies of the galaxy, I guess. We just want to chill and do our thing, and we're not into all that power struggle, man.
Peace and love, man. Peace and love. Like I could legitimately see if
Mhm,
Nox came to Earth, they would just
mhm.
hang out. Honestly, I'm surprised we didn't see a Nox back in the '60s whenever they transported back.
Yeah, that would have been cool when they did that 1969 episode to yeah. Would have been
Honestly, just like a group of Nox frolicking in a field or something like that, just circle hands, hanging out with
right,
humans, and humans have no idea because they're just like,
right.
oh, you're just dressed funny like me, kind of, or something. I don't know.
They have some kind of commune or something that they stop by. Yeah.
Or I just a pyramid scheme for fake ascension.
Yeah,
No, not
it
false.
could be.
Not false at
Yeah.
all.
And there's literal pyramids.
Like it is actually taking over the Goa'uld. It is a pyramid scheme.
Mhm.
Um,
I agree. They're kind of pixies, elves. They are kind of the elves.
the Nox.
Hmm. Popcorn powers comment.
I just posted this in the community chat as well, just so we might get a couple more fun little things. Okay, I
Mhm.
know. How about a Harcesis?
Oh, child, yeah.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Because
But then
are
you'll
we?
turn evil like Daniel did. I guess what you're going
Well,
on.
Daniel goes through the ringer a few times. Honestly,
Yeah.
they all do. Jack too,
Hmm.
because he gets
Yeah.
aged multiple times, doesn't he? And then gets pushed
At
back
least
to the
once.
right age.
And then
Where Daniel
yeah.
legitimately dies, I think, a couple times. And
Hmm.
yeah, he is our space Jesus. He is our Anakin
Hmm.
or our Paul Atreides.
Yeah.
Dr. Daniel Jackson.
Hmm.
We got Rob, no furlings. Okay, think about the Harcesis stuff, though. Did we ever get like a clear example of what a quote unquote power set would be from a Harcesis child? Because the Harcesis didn't
Yeah.
last that long.
I mean, the only thing I think of is that I forget that Daniel episode, but that's more like a human though, and he's like beyond a little bit above human.
I almost feel like
Um,
it's the Ori's version of Adria, but
mhm,
for the Goa'uld, the Harcesis.
right.
I just once again, we weren't necessarily given like a clear, defining kind of way of like, how's this work?
Yeah, I mean, I understand why, why he taught Daniel that lesson, because they want him to see that, having all that knowledge is just gonna corrupt you like it corrupted the Gould. And so he just went to he's just off living with the ancients, right? At this point, that's what we know. So that'd be interesting in a continuation. Does he come back around?
Yeah.
And is he an adult now or still the kid, Because you could bring back a different kid to play that character. Or would he be grown up? It'd be interesting. It'd be like an interesting thing to explore, if a continuation gets going. Yeah.
Kind of like how quickly or how not quickly a Nox ages, I guess, because who knows? Yeah, Sam and Rodney always have their way of working out of problems. Sam and Rodney going into the Nox would honestly be. You want a small budget Stargate just to get back into things? Give us like a one-off of Sam and Rodney leading a small team of scientists with the smallest of like military escort guards, just for the sake of it. And have us go do that. That'd be kind of a really fun little thing. I don't know if it'd be a good way to like bring Stargate back necessarily, but that'd be a fun little like avenue to do it,
Like if they did that like anthology thing, like that would be like a one-off kind of just focusing on those two characters, and then in that story kind of telling what they've gone through in the time we don't know what happened. It'd be a way to kind of tell that too.
I still think a movie is the way to do it, and in a series with arcs would be the way to do it also.
Right.
But like we did talk about, and like you were pointing out the other week, that Gate World video where Darren was suggesting they do the anthology. That would be a cool way to it.
Yeah. But you could still, to kick things off, I mean, I guess it depends on,
Well, because obviously we're
do they
thinking
want to go like a television universe kind of route, or do they want to do both, or do they want to, it's hard to.
Well, because if they're doing the show, they still at least leave themselves. If they start with a show, they leave room for a big theatrical movie at some point, if they can or want to work up to it. Where if they start with the anthology, you're not going to get a movie anytime soon. Right. It's just not going to happen. But that might be a smaller, easier way to fund the larger scale series you would like. We would want Amazon to do after the fact, kind of. But that's the only way I guess I could see that happening. But if they do small scale Stargate to bring us back, anthology's kind of perfect.
It is. Yeah. Or do they do like a mini series that sets up a movie? But then they'd have to in some way stand on its own also, but
yeah. And I don't know if a mini series is going to attract enough eyeballs like that.
Yeah.
Stargate alone might. I mean, the last miniseries, the two last miniseries that I think got a huge amount of attention, obviously last year was Shogun, and now it's not a miniseries; it's going to be 2 seasons. Surprise! But before that was Chernobyl. I don't know another miniseries in recent memory that like
that was really good too.
Viewership. Chernobyl's so good. Oh, I haven't started watching Last of Us 2 yet. Have y'all started yet? Did y'all watch season 1? You and Brett?
Of what?
The Last of Us.
I started watching it, and then Brett was like, "This is kind of depressing," and then I'm like, "Now I want to see it," so I'm trying to find the time to kind of catch up because the next season comes out pretty soon here, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it started this past week.
Oh, it does. Okay, so I need to like catch up on that. I watched like the first few episodes. Like, I think I saw season 1 up to the point when they like Anna Torv from Fringe was in it. When they were starting to do stuff with her, that's kind of when I quit watching it, like around there. So I think I got at least half of the first season, maybe. I need to watch it, so I didn't see the Daredevil finale last night.
Oh, I haven't either, actually.
Yeah.
I did go see The
Hopefully.
Accountant 40X, which was cool, but I just didn't see Daredevil because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mark is saying Last of Us Season 2 is better than any episode of Last of Us Season 1 so far.
I got to catch up on that. Try to do that. Mm-hmm.
I don't like to, but I'm kind of thinking I might actually do the same. Yeah, it's only one episode a week. We're talking about all these guys down here, Mark. If you could choose a single one of them, or a multitude of them, you just got to start explaining. We're going through the ringer here. Just if this is just a fun graphic I saw, and we're kind of applying Stargate to the graphic instead of all the other original characters that were behind it. Behind it is like Darth Vader, Spawn, Power Rangers, Batman, so on and so forth. But this is our Stargate version, and so far it's pretty cool. If they do what I said and make it a limited series of Shepard Las Vegas episode, Wraith on Earth would save a fortune on set design.
Yeah.
It's true. The little miniseries stuff could be a good way, or anthology, I guess, would be a good way of doing a lot of the smaller budget things that could bring us back up to date with where we are.
But you got to do at least one episode, or not two, that kind of, like a couple, if they do it right, a couple big like fan service episodes, we're bringing back legacy people, reminding everybody of Stargate and what it was. And, and that's for new fans too, I guess, that haven't watched everything. It could be so good if it can be done right. So hopefully, and it sounds like, to me anyway, like Mark Fergus was that person. If not Brad Wright himself, or at least have the two of them consulting with each other.
I agree. Fergus and Otsby are number one on the docket. Even and as much as I respect and adore Brad Wright, I would rather Fergus and Otsby to take charge of a new age of Stargate.
Yeah.
But I would still want Brad Wright and any of the others that could be involved, because they should be involved for all the production aspect of it, and consulting and all that. Just come on. Bring it to us, Amazon. Southie's gone. Give us Stargate.
This stuff about Sulky kind of explains, like, because we're like, why is this taking so long? What is going now we know why, but anyway, watch Jay's videos.
Watch Jay's videos and be prepared for the expose, the long version of videos here soon. We'll just figure out when the best time is for the old Jayster.
Probably Sunday.
Yeah, probably Sunday. It's probably it's nice to have the break in the Chevron Awards, honestly.
Well, we only have the one more to do, right? Which was like the all-time greatest movie and show.
It was that. And maybe the IP.
Right. We were going to do 3. Yeah, we were going to do all-time television movie, and then IP was going to be like a third category. Yeah. Okay.
If we could really be good about making each chunk 30 minutes and put all 3 in one. But that's not for this Sunday. That's for next Sunday.
Yeah, if we ever get it finished. Anyway, and I've been meaning, I do want to kind of, I don't even remember what all the categories were.
I got everything. I've been taking pictures of my whiteboard as I write everything across, and I just need to get the pictures together, and then we will have the nominations of the Chevron Awards. And then we can have our final Chevron Award and get back to again about new sci-fi. Yeah. Because hopefully, kind of at the end of this month, beginning of May, is whenever Lilo and Stitch comes out. So that'll be like a big, fun new sci-fi thing happening. A little more jovial to kind of bring. There hasn't been a whole bunch of sci-fi this year, and the things that have been sci-fi have kind of been a little depressing, like Mickey 17, Electric State.
Yeah.
Ash was depressing. And most things have been like sci-fi horror, I guess, this year so far. Which are fun as hell and a lot of I love watching, but you need a little Give us that jovial, like, kid stuff just for a little bit. And make it good, because that actually looks really good, too. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it looks cute.
I cheat on our list here, and I'm going to put Stitch, and I will take Stitch. Like Stitch's power set here.
If Stitch found a Stargate, I guess.
Honestly, that would be kind of a fun thing to do. I'm going to write that down. Writing it down.
Fan fiction film. There we go.
It'll be a fun little video that we can do right as it drops. The day Lilo and Stitch drops, we're going to drop that. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Stitchgate. There we go. Like, hold us accountable, y'all. I will make sure we have this out for you. Lilo and Stitch. Oh, wait, no. Oh, Stitch Stargate. Stitchgate.
Yeah.
If Stitch went to the Stargate.
Yeah.
So excited about the idea. My brain just lost all form of short-term memory.
I mean, Stitch, he's supposed to be a weapon, right? That's what he's made for?
He's Experiment 626, but he is also like, complete. His basis, that the reason like they exile him and were planning on killing him was he destroys everything.
Yeah.
Until Lilo helps him out, but of course. And the only way to get people to have the want and need to destroy everything, to stop the want and need to destroy everything, is play him some Elvis. That's the only way. It is the only way. I've always thought a new series based on the 4 great races would be cool. It'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be great. Also, very excited, Peter. We will be covering. We will be. See? Look.
He's cute.
Perfect.
In a alien evil kind of way.
And obviously, our UK and European folks in here, y'all are going to be able to like put me in check if this is not true at all. But I'm pretty positive Lilo and Stitch is like by and far the best grossing and highest selling thing in like, I think like Disney France and Disney all over like Europe. He outside of the US, he's supposed to be huge. And inside of the US, he's freaking huge. But, you know, we'll go on all the princesses and stuff a little bit more often, a lot. But, you know, we like the sci-fi around here. And Lilo's a princess. Sorry, Moana, screw off. We like the old age.
Yeah.
Lilo never had a bad movie. What? Would be a good sideshow showing Merlin early days and a co-star became the Ori later with Tech. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they should have done with Morgan or whatever her Morgan Le Fay, but her ancient name I forget. But Daniel figures out, you know, she comes in that time when Daniel goes to Atlantis, right? And they think they're talking to a hologram, and then he figures out, wait a minute, you're not a hologram.
He's like, where are you? You're alive.
Yeah.
I watched one of, I think the channel is SG2 or SG2, something like that. I'm sure some of our folks are familiar with the channel. Do a little expose about how stupid it was for them to just let the ancients that they found, that they gave back Atlantis to for a short bit of time, to just take the city and be fine with it. Because then they were wiped out by the Assurans very quickly. Morgan Le Fay would have been another great opportunity to have a living ancient able to explain a lot more and delve into that world building without having them just be an exposition dump. Like, this does this, and this does this, and this does this. Surprise. You know, she would be a type of character where she wouldn't necessarily want to tell you everything. So sometimes you might learn something new by watching her go sneak off and do something by herself. Sometimes we might learn how something works because, okay, now she has to let everybody know. I think that would have been cool. Kind of I don't know why it kind of reminds me of Hathor. It feels like it would be the better Hathor episode if we got something like that. Obviously,
Right.
not Gould snakes in a pool like that, but if we would have been able to spend the time we had with Hathor, I guess that was just an episode. It was 2 episodes, maybe 3.
Yeah, there was. I think she was also that episode where she tries to fool them into believing that they've been like in cryogenic sleep for 70 years or 100 years or whatever it is. I think it's the end of season 2, beginning of season 3.
Because it is a double episode, and I feel like she might even pop up right before that too. I don't know. Is she in 2 or 3? Chat. You'll let us know.
I think she might pop in another episode, but I don't know if she's like a main.
Yeah, I almost feel like she's like introduced like amongst a council of Gould at some point. I just might be misremembering.
Yeah.
Ancients take her voice for speaking too much. Thank you. Oh wow, Peter. I'm about to go fight everybody in the UK. I'm kidding. Definitely kidding. That is going to be taken out of context at some point. It is the internet. But no, that's insane. But that would make sense, I guess, where that couldn't happen. And I guess they would.
The ancients sort of have the Knox like attitude of like, we're not gonna be involved, which is one of the reasons. I mean, that's really pretty much why Daniel got kicked out, because he didn't agree with that. But
yeah, I'm honestly, the Knox are a bit of a. They're just. I love the idea of the Knox, but they are totally plot hole. They're just a big plot hole. they
just end up being a one-off. Well, I mean, I guess the one girl does come back for an episode, but they really. There could be a lot more to explore there. Like, what if they actually got to go to a Knox city? One of those cloud cities would have been really cool.
Oh, that would have been awesome. Well, like, did the ancients get the want for ascension from the Knox almost? Like, because the Knox almost feel like they're kind of like an Ori, or they're almost like Anubis or an Adria or something like that, where they have powers that are kind of not usual.
Yeah, like why aren't they like ascended? Well, I don't know. Maybe there are Knox that are ascended.
Maybe they are like
anybody ascend. I mean, they kind of make it like, like, oh well, the ancients like ascended, but then since Daniel ascended, doesn't that mean like anybody could ascend if you seek that? I guess.
Yeah, because they almost kind of come off like, I think power wise, same as the Ori, or like same as a prior. But actually, just the good version of them.
Oh, check your messages.
Oh. Oh no. Is it in Stargate 2? Oh shit. Well, we'll see what happens in a moment.
Yeah.
The Knox remind me of the Princess Bride. Have fun storming the castle. Billy Crystal and wife. I love that.
That's one of my all-time favorite movies, Princess Bride. It's great.
It's not underrated because everybody totally understands how amazing it is. It's just that film, like, no matter how much you want to love it and want to think about it, it just seems to kind of like fade out of memory real quick, and then you see something about it and you just get really excited again, Because I feel like it's like a shared kind of thing amongst people, because it is totally a film that everyone's always saying it's super underrated. Yeah. But if everybody says it's underrated,
it's kind of a cult classic kind of thing. It's like you either kind of get it and love that kind of humor and stuff, or you don't.
Yeah.
It's so good. There's just so many good one-liners in there, especially about the
The whole movie. You know what?
Yeah.
Was it Honest Trailers? I think it's Honest Trailers. Did a Honest trailer on Tombstone the other day, just kind of like in memory of Val Kilmer and stuff.
Mhm.
And one of the things they say in there is this movie is entire. You can just pick any single line from this movie and just put it out there, and it's good. You know, like
Yeah.
every single line is a one-liner.
Yeah.
Princess Bride and Tombstone might be the two most one-liner movies ever.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Butch Cassidy is probably up there too, but those two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're both like good writing in different ways, but yeah.
It's like the Goonies, but for girls also. It's true. It's like medieval in a way.
As a Princess Buttercup.
Of course. What? Wait, what? Mad Mardigan? Rip. What poison scene? Did I miss something?
Oh, from Princess Bride.
Oh. Inconceivable. It was inconceivable for a moment there.
Jay would be that character.
Honestly, though, that would be so good. Inconceivable. I don't know if you understand what that word means. You keep using it, or however the line goes.
Yeah.
You keep using that word, and I'm not sure you know what it means. Mm-hmm. I think that's closer to the line.
Yeah, or just that rhyming thing. Him and the Inigo Montoya, you know, they get in those rhyming things or whatever. That's great. It's just there's so many good things.
I just thinking about it. Sorry, y'all. This has turned into a Princess Bride stream, and we're gonna turn on Princess Bride and watch it right now.
We should do a watch party of that. That's what we should do. You know?
Totally. I don't think that would be. Oh yeah. I'll take it.
Yep.
Beside, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
You killed my Warcraft character. Prepare to pay.
Yeah.
Beside, you're gonna be our perfect thing to rein us back in. We were talking about Princess Bride for a second. We got a little bit off topic.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Did we? It happened.
Did we?
But we have a fun little game we've been kind of playing and going back and forth. We kind of just went off on a Ori and Nox, not Ori versus Nox, but kind of how similar they are and different in the same way. But B-Sod, and of course, anybody that hasn't answered yet, I don't know if Tony's given us his version or not just yet, and a few others. He'll let us know.
I guess I could pick. Well, I picked Hathor at first, but what else would I?
Well, because there's ups and downs to everything. The Jaffa, obviously, Teal'c is the Jaffa right there. We put him over Deadpool because the Jaffa has a natural healing ability. Like that would give you the semblance, at least, of the most normal life, human adjacent, I guess, that you could have with longevity. And every time you get hurt, you're not hurt for long. Unless you get shot and killed, but that's not hurt, so that's a little different.
Right.
The Jaffa is pretty handy. Obviously, we get kind of caught up in the Nox and the Ori with all the powers and stuff, but the Wraith and the Jaffa would both give you a bit of longevity.
Yeah. Well, Merlin. I think I'd like to be Merlin, just have the knowledge. But then you're an ancient that is checked out from helping, I guess. Or was Merlin one of those that wanted to help and kind of push the limits on that? And
yeah.
I
kind of feel like that was more. And then Morgan Le Fay was kind of the same, but also a little bit more not. a little evil with it at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I just would not want to be a replicator. That's the one that I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, that's just like, I don't think that, is it the Cull Warrior? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes.
They're
Cull
just
Warrior.
mindless. They're well, I don't know if anybody'd want, I mean, it'd be nice to have those powers, but they're kind of mindless, right? They're not.
They're not mindless. They're only mindless because because I was just thinking, well, they all have like the shared memory or whatever,
right?
But they have the shared memory of a juvenile Gould, and I'm pretty sure they put Anubis said he put that the juvenile Goa'uld as like the clone for everything for the sake of keeping them like young and impressionable. I think. Am I crazy, chat? Am I just misremembering, or is that make sense? He wasn't ex-ascended, but he did Dexter's Lab de-ascend. Oh, Ritu. Not yeah, Tyler. Ritu Tyler, right?
Oh, yeah, that was a good. They should have done more with that. Like, that's almost like a one-off episode that you kind of forget, but then when you think of it, you're like, oh, that's really cool. They should have done more of that.
So exciting watching it the first time because they don't let you know you obviously know something's up, but you get 15 to 20 minutes into the episode, I feel like, before they actually give you something about it being an alien, and you're just like,
yeah, at first you almost think like, okay, this is just random, some dude from another SG team that's with them for whatever reason, and then you realize it's more than that. But
yeah, but your brain just goes to so many different places. At first I'm like, did the Goa'uld trick them or something? Are they under some type of pheromones like Hathor, or like what is going on?
Right.
No, just cool. Not I almost said creepy. He's not really creepy. He could be. That alien species could be very creepy.
I mean, but he's just doing it because he's curious, right? He's not. There's no ill intent or anything like that. So
he was curious, but also he was actually injured, wasn't he? He was trying to get them to go back and help, not heal him, but save his life, weren't we? As the SG, the Earth Tower you were sent to him. Not a Ritu. Which one is that? What is the? I always call them Ritu.
I'm like looking up right now, see if I can find out.
It's the white kind of exoskeleton kind of creature with almost like the Matrix white dreadlocks with it almost.
What the episode was, the Fifth Soldier. What season was that? Do we know? I want to say like 7 if I had to guess, but I don't think I'm right.
I want to say it's in that like 5 to 7 range, something like that. He hunted
season 5.
5. Okay.
It's the episode that airs after that one with that ancient that's creepily in love with Sam. You know, the dude that builds a Stargate in her basement. That one.
Oh, that one. Okay, I was thinking about the Tok'ra. I was like, oh my god, what's his name again? No, the ancient. That.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like that. If you want to just talk about something that's cool, is drop that knowledge. Have Sam figure out that, hey, I had a security camera on this entire time or something, and now I actually know how to build a Stargate
in my basement. Yeah. How did he power it? Did he get an aqueduct generator or whatever? I don't even remember. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to look up reading about this article to see if they say what the name of the alien is.
Because I remember, he used the power grid, but didn't he overload it too? Was it just connecting to the main grid, but like overloading it? Only one address on that? Hey, well, they've got great power grids in Colorado if that's the case. But also, I guess maybe she's on a fancy power grid because she is Stargate oriented. I don't know.
Oh yeah, or somehow he hacked. Yeah, I do seem he somehow hacked like the power grid or whatever.
It was a massive capacitor. Remember the Stargate's A capacitor?
Yeah.
Quality assurance.
It was kind of like a one-off, like one trip thing, though, right? Because it kind of blew up after he did it because it wasn't real, and it didn't have the ability to dial. It was like he just built it to go one place. But if he had more time, he could build it properly. But it's saying the real.
The real. Oh,
real.
like REOUL almost, something like that.
REOLE. That's what this.
Okay.
That's the race of alien he was. Yeah. So
the lights blinked when
he can secrete a chemical substance. if I can talk, a chemical substance that can make an individual believe the real is not a threat.
Okay.
It's kind of a camouflage that they use, I think.
Hey, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The SG2 thing. But
Mm-hmm.
that would be handy to have.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't keep them from being out of danger. As cool as that would be, it would get you in trouble almost just as much as it. Because that's got to be because he was curious, and it's kind of, I feel like that's a case of curiosity kills the cat almost every time.
Yeah.
Like, don't poke the bear too much, and I feel like that would make you want to poke the bear always.
Yeah.
Remember, Janet remembers him when she's exposed to the chemical. The ancient guy?
The real guy, I think, Tyler, whatever.
Okay. Because I know Joe was just talking about the ancient thing a second ago. So my brain was in two different places at once. I did find the mini Stargate over here.
Oh.
Let me see if I can spread this tab real quick. And
It's
we'll
just
see
that
if it actually...
the guy was so creepy.
Wasn't it Orlin? I thought it was Orin for a second.
Yeah.
7 100,000 watt industrial strength capacitors and a toaster.
Yeah, it was a little bit like, okay, MacGyvered to me, but it was kind of.
Well, I feel like all things in Stargate need to be just a little MacGyvered.
Mm-hmm.
He was on some love hormones. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he de-ascended from being an ancient and actually got hormones again for the first time, and dude was flustered, you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Remember he hit the joke with Samantha that she was going to have a massive credit card bill next month? Yeah, that's right. I'm surprised it didn't overload the freaking grid.
Just swing by Home Depot and get your gate building materials.
But also, for the just let them learn how to do that.
Yeah. It seems like they could have studied, even if it like blew up or whatever, was damaged or whatever, that you still would be able to figure. I mean, Sam would be smart enough to figure it out. I think even without him doing it, I think Sam could have figured it out if she wanted to. But
between her, McKay, and Lee and all the others,
yeah, they could have done it. Mm-hmm.
Remember the awkwardness when he came back in the Four Horsemen? No, honestly. I'm trying to think of that one. Yeah. So now he's a descendant. Oh God.
Descendant Joe. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of hung up. Just they could have totally. How great would it have been to have seen Jack literally MacGyver a Stargate together at some point using Sam's instructions?
They've just made him to be so like not science, no science ability at all, just all military mind.
Well, that's why it would be even better to have maybe Sam have to like over a radio have to explain or something like that, and Jack's the only person there that can do it, and that means we can get the MacGyver stuff, and it would just be.
Oh yeah, that would have been funny thing to do.
And it would have been cool, and it means that we would have known how to build Stargates, and that would have been.
Yeah, it would have been a nice way to know, like, okay, how does it?
Well,
generate the wormhole exactly. I mean, we know there's power. It takes a lot of power, but.
I'm typing Orlin SG1, the Four Horsemen episode. The Fourth Horseman, Part 1. He doesn't come back as that kid, does he?
Yeah, I think I don't remember if this episode is. Yeah, it is after that, because I guess they kind of love each other, but it's like just super creepy, but we're supposed to be okay with it, I guess. Or she was. And then he does come back as a kid to help her with the Ori plague or whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
really
Yeah.
like creepy. It's even more creepy because it's like him in a child's body. So there's like this kid that's like all in love with her and stuff, and it's like very like ew.
I
They even make it
remember that.
creepier when they bring him back.
I forgot that was the same
Yeah,
person.
yeah, it was. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched that
And
episode in like
I forget
2 years.
there was something wrong with him. Like he was having a hard time. He was he was like dying. I think while he was doing it, it was like I think he ends up dying. But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Well, should we scroll down and figure out? Because I guess it's not. If we've all seen it, technically, I just need to
hmm
jog memory.
Yeah.
Uh, Personal through the use of his prior powers. I guess he doesn't necessarily die. It doesn't say he dies. That's so creepy. That is so creepy.
Because it's like I guess Sam was like in love with him, and then it's him, but in a child's body. So how do you like? Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
popcorn power. I can't put that up
Mhm.
there, but yes, essentially. Dang. Would have been great if they had Carl Sagan as a guest one time. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Was it? Well, he
Did
was
have what's his name on once. Um.
his successor, old Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Bill Nye,
Mhm.
who is not to the same pedigree, but still
No.
Bill Nye.
Mhm.
He dies and gets reascended by Oma Dasala, I think.
Hmm.
Or does, not Oma, he just gets reascended, right? Because Oma can't really do anything anymore. She's kind of gone after just she jumps in that battle with Anubis.
Right. Hmm.
Well, then brain damaged kid to save humanity. What?
Yeah, because he was dying. I don't know. There was like a time limit, or he was dying, or I don't.
Um, that is a good point. Also, popcorn.
Mhm.
Again, I don't know if I should bring it up on the screen necessarily, but it was a good point. It's a good question. You're like,
Mhm.
obviously, Sam feels something for
Mhm.
the the creep. I guess I don't know how else to
The
describe
creep.
it.
I know. I think it's supposed to. I don't know. It just came across as like really creep. I mean, maybe at the time it's more creepier now than it was at the time it was made. But even at the time it was made, it's kind of like this dude just shows up at your house, and it's like, oh, I guess we love each other.
He's like, I'm here. I love you. Also, if you try to say anything to anybody, I don't exist, and I will make you seem like you're crazy. It's like,
Yeah, and
oh,
I'll destroy your
hello?
house by building a Stargate.
Yeah. Well,
Where did he
Samantha,
need to go anyway? I don't even remember where he went. But I don't
it, oh my God, popcorn.
know.
Um,
We're getting into like this whole.
it, I think he just went back to where he came from, like, actually, though, because wasn't it like a little, like, desert planet?
I know I'm looking at the episode right now.
Huh. They should cross over live action 1 or 2 episode special Rick and Morty to Gate if it returns to bring in a younger crowd. Honestly, Arnold,
Mhm.
silly, but yeah, like actually, like they couldn't exist in the same world, but you could kind of find a way to make it exist in the same world, technically, because I guess Rick
Mhm.
and Morty started after Stargate was done, so maybe
Mhm.
some crazy stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's if Comedy Central decided to buy Stargate from MGM, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
which
We can all
Comedy
dream. Mhm.
please.
I don't watch Rick and Morty personally, but I know of it. My husband likes it, but it's not really my thing.
It's a lot of fun. It's goofy, very very goofy, and it is not for everybody, but it is so much fun. Whenever it is the right time for some Rick and Morty, dial and touch the rock, the multiverse rock. Yeah, Orland starts talking about the details. Yeah, that's creepy. That's just a little creepy. Just a little creepy. Who have we not talked about on this? What would it be like, I guess, having...
Asgard? We haven't really hit on the Asgard. Which the Asgard are just super smart, advanced.
Would it be awesome or would it suck to be an Asgard? I don't think it'd be fun.
No, especially since you're just like a clone and they're very logical, kind of Vulcan-like in their culture, I think.
And they're constantly dying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a flaw in there, like, yeah, they're dying out, not just because of the replicators, but because the clone technology is failing or whatever, or just they've replicated too many times without having any like fresh infusion of DNA or whatever, and because they're too far removed from whatever they were originally.
Yeah, popcorn. Good point. It would not be fun.
Yeah.
All adults. Can Sam explain it? He was an adult.
In his mind, he was an adult, but he was in a child's body, which makes it
creepy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Think about a live action Rick and Morty. Who would play them? Well, it was the kid from Stranger Things and Christopher Lloyd. When they did like fun live action stuff.
Because it is supposed to be the Back to the Future, like based on the Back to the Future thing, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. In the first, you're talking about the first episode. Still though, that was also honestly even creepier than the kid. Like,
yeah. Just that he showed up and be like, oh, anyway.
That's a great, honestly, David. The fact that they always can recognize who's who. They've got to it's got to be like a zebra thing or like a leopard or a jaguar where you're like, oh, well, I don't know. I still don't get being able to tell the different spots or stripes from that quickly. Like, maybe it's a pheromone thing and they can smell who's who. I don't know. They still have nostrils.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think it'd be fun to be an Asgard. It would be.
The knowledge would be nice, but it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah,
I don't think.
It doesn't seem like they have a purpose to live anymore. Their only purpose, they're not the most knowledgeable things in the universe either, but they're almost contempt and kind of complacent in a way with where they are at technologically.
Mm-hmm.
And they understand they're dying out, and they're literally they're kind of just looking for friends, and thankfully,
right.
the tower
and they decided humans; those are the ones to give all our knowledge to. But I guess who else would be better? The Nox probably have more advanced knowledge than the Asgard do. I mean, for safekeeping, maybe, but then they would never release that information, so it would be taken from the world, I guess, or whatever. But
the only, I think, purpose the Asgard have as a species, essentially, at the point where we meet them, is to literally herald in the new age version of themselves in a big way, I guess.
Right.
Just dying out. They're in a stagnant war that's just been in a stalemate for years and years and years, and neither one can really make the move on the other.
Right. They've like they've gone as far as they could go. You know?
Well, and they, I guess, didn't
Mhm.
want to. They weren't interested in ascending or anything like that because they're clones.
No, I don't know if they believed in any of that because I think they're just, like I said, very logical. I don't know if I didn't get a sense they
Spiritual.
believed in spirituality or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No.
Obviously, they know it's there.
Hmm.
Even though that they know it's there, you would think that the
Right.
logic part of the
Or
brain would
maybe
want to explore it.
they just weren't interested in delving into it, or they had. It'd be interesting to know, like, what do the Asgard think of that? Because obviously they must have some logical explanation that it's not some supernatural spiritual thing. It's like a transference of energy from one plane to another or something. You know. But,
That's yeah. Joe did just ask
mhm,
a question here.
mhm,
Um, arm wrestling with the Asgard.
right,
Well, question: why won't humans give DNA to save the Asgard?
right.
Uh, Popcorn joked about it earlier. They have no genitalia. They have no
Yeah,
reproductive system
yeah.
longer.
But it
They
seems like maybe they would have been like, okay, let's see if. But don't they say they've tried to fix the problem with their DNA?
the veneer had tried, I believe, and maybe Loki was trying as well, and that's why Loki was like
Right.
the fringe Asgard when we meet him.
Right, like they didn't like that they had ethics when it came to experimentation and stuff and just what they'd have to do, they didn't want to go there maybe.
Yeah, there's the thing where Loki got in trouble for experimenting on
Mhm.
humans. Yeah, that
Isn't
yeah.
he the one that creates the Jack clone?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought they kind of thought about it, but then they had they yeah, I think they just either it didn't work or they just feel that's unethical and won't do it.
Yeah.
Or they're too into like, they don't want to mixing in another DNA will make them different or something. Mhm.
They don't necessarily lean into that too much. Obviously, Loki's
No.
trying to save their species, and the
Mhm.
veneer did save their species
Yeah.
over there in a different way. I
Mhm.
guess sort of. We think they saved their species, probably, hopefully.
Right, but they were
Um,
using some kind of, they had those little techie looking things like on their foreheads.
mhm.
Like maybe they were using some kind of technology that keeps them alive or kept it going or whatever. Because he didn't seem like 100%. Like there was, I don't know, like the veneer seemed like they were a little bit patched together, like to keep going.
Yeah,
Um, that's why they had the human looking armor suits and
because
stuff
they
like
were
that.
a larger size and stature as well.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, yeah. Were the cryogenically frozen ancestor Asgards? That was in Loki's lab, wasn't it? And it was like the
It
only
might have, yeah, I think there was it Loki's maybe it was Loki's lab or something like that, yeah.
because wasn't that what he was trying to put
Yeah, I
with
think
Jack's DNA?
he was just doing a bunch of DNA experiments, I think, trying to fix the problem. And I think he was willing to go outside the ethical bounds to do it.
Yeah, but I guess just that's it is a very interesting problem to have. It would kind of suck to be an Asgard in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Honestly, after thinking about it, the Jaffa kind of seems like the best bet in a lot of ways as well, and just
Yeah, except for you
normality.
gotta be dependent on that Tritonin or a larval Gould to live. But as long as you have those things, yeah, then you're strong, you live a long life, you heal quickly.
That's not shabby. That's not shabby. Tony just asked a good question. There could be a great story if the Ascended ascended the Asgard as they died. Yeah, but I think it was either Popcorn or Joe that said it a minute ago. They can't ascend because of their clone stuff, because of the cloning. And part of me, as I saw that, we were talking about something, but I was thinking about it as well. Was can you not ascend without a reproductive system any longer? That would kind of make sense to me because it's such a spiritual thing, and like the ability to reproduce in the world is also a very spiritual thing. And like, would that take like an essence of your spirituality out of you, kind of? Is that kind of like what they were alluding to in some way?
I don't know.
No
maybe they became, like they were beings with souls, and just the cloning lost that. Although there could be a debate: do clones have souls or not? That's also,
Yeah.
are androids humans? Kind of same, like similar, thing. But
oh, I'm gonna write both those down real quick. Those are.
I mean, I guess it's like, what is a soul? Consciousness. I mean, they can transfer their consciousness, but is that your soul, or is that why they're more unemotional and logical, because they don't have souls?
Do they have souls? Is the question I ask myself here at the bottom of my prompt for what sounds like could be a really cool video. Because I guess back to the reproductive system real quick. If you don't have the ability to create, you can't. Does that? Because obviously, how the hell do souls work is a question here. Because how does a soul make another soul?
Forget about what abilities. Let's get down to the real questions.
Yeah. Every religion ever and every sci-fi thing ever, we're gonna figure it out right now.
Hey, future topic: religions in Stargate.
Honestly,
or religion in Stargate, or whatever. Yeah.
Interesting episode, and we could do that, and then literally make a series of videos after that about them. That could be 2 or 3 months worth of stuff. Well, first off, souls can ascend. Yes. That is our base level rule. Thank you, Popcorn. This needs to be our base, and we can build from there. Oh my God, yes.
If we're talking about ascension, but then there's the Ori religion, there's the ancient Egyptian religions, there's
the people that praise the Asgard as Nordic gods for millennia.
Yep. Yeah, the Nordic religions.
There's a lot.
And just even the human, but I don't think they really touch too much on the human religious side of things. But yeah.
Well, I guess I'm also thinking about the soul issue here. Because in a reproductive sense, 1 + 1 = 2. But whenever you're cloning, it's like siphoning off the soul that was. Does that make
right? Maybe it just feels like, maybe the energy, like how the DNA, you're making copies of copies of copies. It kind of, maybe that same thing happens with the soul. So maybe at this point they don't have, maybe they did have souls, and then over the course of time they now don't, and that's why they're so emotionless and logic based, driven, whatever you want to say.
Yes. I'm just trying to figure out what point along the way did their soul actually.
Yeah, just what was it? Replication number 1203 that did it, or whatever.
Or replication 7. Who knows?
Yeah, how many? I mean, when we meet Thor, how many generations of him have existed? Do you stay the same person from the beginning to? Is it always been Thor's, or is it, does each clone kind of take a new name, and they're that person, but it's like they're reborn, you know.
It's
Anyway.
yeah. While cloning, they just copied the memories over from the original. The original Asgard they first copied would have had a soul.
Just over
So,
time, it degraded and went away, maybe.
or I guess if they are that technologically advanced and they're legitimately just creating, or copying and cloning the memories, they're essentially making a flesh robot. Are the Asgard technically cyborgs? Like by technicality? And their soul did die on the first cloning?
Yeah.
Well, what defines a soul again?
Exactly. How do you answer
that?
I'm sure there are religious philosophers or whatever that have a definition of that. It'd be interesting. What is the dictionary definition of a soul? Like, I'm curious to know now.
Let's Google.
Yeah.
Not a soulmate, just a soul.
Yeah.
Share this tab. In essence, a soul is often defined as the spiritual or non-physical part of a person believed to give life to the body and potentially exist after death. It's considered the core of a person's being, encompassing their essence, thoughts, emotions, and character. It is the non-physical entity distinct from the body and mind.
Right.
Not mind. It would be part of the mind, huh? No, I guess not.
If you think it's just, I don't know, is it your energy? You know, because our bodies do produce energy. You know, what makes you you? Like, we're trying to answer these deep philosophical questions. And we're supposed to talk about Stargate, but anyway, I guess it's related.
It poses these questions, I guess, over and over again,
like
and it just kind of glosses.
Tony's comment there.
And into Ascension.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to SciTrek, where we deep dive into the true meaning of life and spirit of existence.
I mean, in a way, Daniel does explore that by becoming an ascended being and all that. But anyway.
And then they kick him out for trying to do good. Like,
yes, exactly. So it's like, I think his idea of being kind of spiritual, I think that experience sort of ended it for him. He seemed to be a lot less that way after that.
Yeah, he was kind of like, this is BS. It's useful.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he's with the Ori. He was like, this is just BS. You know?
Honestly, prior Daniel was so cool. I wish he was able to just keep the powers for a little bit and just play around, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he tried to take out Anubis, right? And they stopped him.
Sorry, say that again?
No, Daniel tried to take out Anubis, but they stopped him.
Yeah. Which is just, again, like...
Yeah.
So odd.
Yeah.
Joe again said, I'm reminded what Daniel said. We should all be reminded that the Ori are an example of the fact that you don't have to be good to have been ascended. Great reminder. Treybone, howdy, by the way. Maybe what we consider a soul is a different species. Wait, maybe what we consider a soul, different species don't. And they consider something else as a soul. So technically, replicators could have a soul. That is a good point, because I was literally about to try to bring it back to, because who said it a minute ago? Brought up replicators.
Replicators are kind of like androids or robots, right? Artificial intelligence. It's kind of that.
But after they've assimilated themselves into like Replicator Sam and the others, kind of.
Right. They somehow captured some of who they were, like. But how did they do that? They just have like DNA of, or they just could, because they've seen them, they could just replicate what they see.
They could replicate whatever.
Yeah.
Would that be more akin to, because I don't necessarily disagree there, and I don't necessarily agree either. We might have to dive into that, Treybone. I like that. Yeah. But would they be closer if, let's say, replicators do have a soul? Would they be closer to, okay, they have conjoined and it is a single soul and it is a living being now? Or because they're replicators and can totally fall apart and become a million pieces that all still have their own like technical
Right.
brain?
I
Question
thought
mark.
when they were like the individual pieces, they were kind of nothing. Like they had to be connected together to create that like consciousness or whatever.
I
I mean,
mean, they
that's
still
the thing too.
activate
Like, the like
some
individual
hormone.
cells don't have souls, but you put the cells together into a
Well,
human.
that's
You know,
kind of where I was
yeah,
leaning. Is like, would they almost be like bees and have a and
yeah.
function? Would the like Sam replicator essentially be like the queen bee and have
They
be
kind of
made of
made it, or it was that other guy too who was like one. Did he call himself one? And
uh-huh.
they had numbers. Okay.
He's the reason we got Sam replicator because Sam killed him.
Oh
Right?
yeah. So did
Oops.
she become like the new one? I don't know. Why did they want to destroy humanity anyway? Just because they wanted because we
What?
screwed them over and they hated us? Because remember they screwed over 4 or whatever? Like Sam was all nice to him and then the SGC basically said, "Screw you, we're doing what we want."
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I don't think they have souls. I think they have like a hive mind or a connected consciousness.
Well, could they all have those
Uh,
small little individual souls and like actually their souls aren't capable of ascension because they're not capable of like a higher level of thought without conjoining? And to conjoin and make that kind of shared being, it's no longer an individual soul anymore.
right. But then
But
how did they become separate individual? I mean, it was like it all started with that one chick, right? That they found on the planet and then they realized like she was the origin of the replicators. Um
she was not a replicator herself, right? She was an actual flesh
no,
being.
I think she was a replicator.
Oh, because they do open her up. They do open her up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and she just wanted friends. They were her friends and her playthings, like her toys that she was making at first.
Right.
And that didn't last long. She
No.
destroyed her entire planet and a good chunk
No,
of the
because
galaxy.
she was unstable, was like so childlike, like yeah. Reminded me a bit of that Twilight Zone kid that could make anybody do what he wanted them to do or whatever.
Yeah, the purple man, essentially, just
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is well, because the I do
Mhm.
like what Popcorn was saying a minute ago about obviously the replicators in SGA are trying
Mhm.
to get Weir to ascend.
Oh,
You would assume the replicators in, I guess, Milky Way would be similar
right.
in that manner, but also they're not necessarily.
They wanted to achieve ascension, right? And it was like, were they not allowed to, or they were trying to? And
Well, because
I
the
don't remember
assured
what the
were
resolution of that was. I think they were trying to ascend but couldn't or something.
well, and then that also brings up the question: only biological beings, and then we're going right back to, and you know what? Let me actually write this down. I'm gonna have a big video at all of this, honestly. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
We're
Mhm.
replicator. I'll finish writing that in a second. But the thought process I'm having here is the Weir replicator, if they used her to try to ascend and she
Mhm.
totally still has all of her memories and is Weir, all intents and purposes, besides having the biological form of herself, does
Yeah,
she
that's
still have a
kind of
soul?
weird because it's like they
Does
somehow
she,
transferred her consciousness into a replicator body?
so does she still have a soul? Or is that an Asgard situation?
Exactly. Hmm.
Books that Elizabeth Replicator ascended. are those canon though? You know, I like the idea of it. Actually, I'd love to read that and figure it out. But like, you know, is that something the wider Stargate community would accept as a whole? I guess. Because immediately, apparently not. You know, they couldn't
Like
send me to.
maybe she has like maybe they have the memories of a soul, or it's like a replicated soul and not a real soul.
Well, now I'm thinking about like reminiscent and like
Yeah.
that, like stuff like that, where you can go
Yeah.
into like memories and you know. Does that mean you're accessing a part of someone else's essence, their being? Is that their soul? Like, is a soul the living memory of someone actually, or like
your energy? And it's just it's one of those things that I don't know can be clearly defined.
well, we're gonna try in a video at some point, but it's gonna drive me crazy to do. But this was gonna be actually. I feel like this is gonna be really exciting. It could end up being like a half-hour video, but she was after she was left frozen in space, but Elizabeth was ascended. Didn't her memories? She regained them through the book. Okay. So she was ascended and then
Like
descended.
the brain patterns of who she was were replicated. So she has the memories, but I don't know if that is a soul. Probably not. Because I think a soul is something that can't be like, I don't know. But memories and stuff are like energy or whatever.
What?
We're getting a little out there, you know.
Quick, Tony, we should make a bunch of Stargate necklaces with SciTrek riding around the edge, make a small fortune. Please do. It would be great.
Yeah.
We'll call you SciTrek Etsy. Or
we need to have some robes and what's our symbol going to be? A circle, obviously.
Glad to know a circle. I got really scared for a second there. I was like, where's this going? No.
We have online courses on the religion of Stargateism.
Hey, all we need is 10,000 people, and we can have an actual religion.
So we get taxed.
Jediism.
Coming up.
Jediism is a thing. It is a legitimate religion. There's also a religion.
That's what we'll do to help, you know, if Stargate comes back, we'll start our own. It'll be like a fan club religion. There we go.
It would be stupid and silly and crazy and insane.
And awesome at the same time, yeah.
And awesome at the same time. Like, it would be so fun. It'd be so bad. I don't want to. We should not start a religion. But if we did it for shits and gigs, like, oh, David. What about biological ships? Oh my God! Okay, Leviathan's.
Moya has a soul. I'm sorry, but Moya. We're speaking of, we were watching Farscape yesterday. Those of you that aren't should join Patreon so you can join us. Have a good time over there.
It is a blast.
Yeah.
Speaking of Miss Moya.
Yeah. Moya has a soul. She reproduces, right? We just found this out.
She fits in the reproducing aspect of the soul theory. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
We are at technically. We could get this religion started both in the U.S. and UK if we really sent
right.
We're going to do a little bulletin for all of our UK and US folks. Stargateism, a religion for lifelong virgins. Oh, God. Thankfully, I think everybody that I know that has done Stargate talk
Yeah.
or anything. Typically
Right.
is married and has children and
Yeah.
goes out and about.
Yep.
Thankfully, I actually think Stargate is probably the healthiest nerd group out of the top three. Stargate,
It's
Star
actually
Trek,
based like in sort of, our right now real world. It's not like some fantasy far off planets, I mean, it is that too, but I mean, it's based around Earth, like right now, present day Earth, which is cool.
which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's it is kind of weird thinking about it, but Stargate totally does probably have the actual like best version of
Mm-hmm.
of not, I don't want to say of fans necessarily because we are the best fans. Just saying, it is Stargate. I'm not trying to start a war with Star
Right.
Trek and Star Wars, but
So somebody needs to start like an X account or Instagram account called Stargateism and start posting things.
Popcorn's like, y'all are taking this too far. Which school will we be praising? We're not taking it too far if we can all get really good tax breaks on everything, Popcorn.
Right.
Think far ahead.
That's
Think
our
far
ultimate
ahead.
goal.
Yeah. Vorlin's ships in Babylon 5 are alive, if I remember correctly. Cool. Cool. Bill and Ted be excellent to each other. It's the best religion.
Yep.
Damn right.
Yep.
Love Bill and Ted. What do we? Oh God, Stargasm. Hey, that's at least it's not a photogasm. I'm talking about Farscape the other day. I was like, you have 10 minutes of this episode in Farscape of this blue priestess Zahn standing there just in the middle of the sun, just having this who knows what's going on, and out of nowhere you just hear Rigel going, "Oh, she's having photogasms over there." Obviously, he didn't say it like that, but it's like
Oh, he pretty much did, I think. And then
not
she
far
comes
off.
she comes floating back in later, like all happy and like just having my photogasms.
She's like, "I'm naked." He's like, "No, no, no." That's Farscape might be in the same list of
Farscape.
that one could be a lifelong version religion there. But Stargate might be the most sexually healthy of all the fandoms and all the fandom religions, which would be good as long as it doesn't end up Mayborn cult like. Because as long as we're not all praising Mayborn instead of a Goa'uld.
Yeah. I mean, I do have my Egyptian god pins on here. I don't know if you can see them very well. I'm trying to do it so the light isn't.
Is the top one Anubis?
This is Anubis.
Okay.
This one's Hathor, and this
Okay.
is Apophis, like snake.
Oh, okay. I see the snake.
Yeah.
Hathor's kind of hard to make out a little bit, but you can see the
It's
Anubis.
a cow. It's a cow head, basically. Trying to get this so it's not. It's like a bowl. Kind of.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I kind of see the horns, and the middle of it is the skull itself.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Amazon might sue, LOL. Amazon's going to be wanting the tax break more than any of us. What do you mean?
Right.
We're going to get Amazon support here.
Yeah. We can sell merch. We can make a deal with Amazon.
We'll split the religion. The church itself will get 30%. Amazon will get 30%, and SciTrek will get 30% of everything, and 10% donations to charity because
donate to the Church of Stargateism.
Would it be Gateism, or would we need the star in there?
I don't
know. We've lost the plot of our fun, crazy trying to figure out who would be who here.
And like, it's not traveling into other dimensions is not, or other worlds isn't through a gate. It's in your mind, and you meditate, and you travel the gate in your mind.
SciTrek live streams on Sundays after Sci-Fi Sundays will be an hour and a half of meditations.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
we
we'll
will
just
not be
make
re-recording the same line over and over again.
music. We'll make meditation music. There we go. A lo-fi. Is there a lo-fi? There should be a lo-fi Stargate. There we go.
I think there are a few, but they're never like those 10-hour ones or something like that.
Right.
They typically are like a couple minutes long or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
A Stargate religion would be pointless. It would all lead towards ascension, which was just a copy and paste from Buddhism. If you really want that, just choose Buddhism. Fewer extra steps.
Yeah.
Buddhists don't get cool powers at the end of it, man. What are we doing? We want the cool powers.
We wouldn't get the tax breaks and, donations. We have to get our pyramid schemes going, right?
Out of freaking way, Peter. That's insane. Chazz builds his own PCs out of our SciTrek folk, and that kind of stuff is intense. Did you say
built PCs?
Okay, I was about to literally ask if you said Brett had built PCs or not.
Yeah, he has. He knows. He's pretty tech savvy. More like self-taught tech savvy than it's not what he does for a job, but he could do it. I mean, he just doesn't have the official paperwork or whatever. But,
a Ryzen 9950 X3D. It's 3D? I'm kidding. That's the only thing I know about the technical specs is you said the word 3D. But always, of course. 1-800, baby.
Somebody with that phone number is going to get a million calls. Like, what? Why do you keep asking me about Stargates?
The actual, yeah. Oh, no, Joe. We would have to tell it to combine Ascension with Ori worship, Gould worship, and Norse worship.
Yep.
And figure them all out. Matt, cool. What is the coolest ability in Stargate? Well, here I am. But first, before you answer that one,
we took a way long rabbit trail on souls.
we have rabbit trailed through souls, talking about replicators and Asgard and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
We posed you a question, sir. We are starting a Stargate religion. Are you in? 30% will go towards the religion, 30% towards Amazon, and 30% us. We've got this. And tax breaks for all. They don't have souls, but do the veneer.
No.
Do replicators. Are replicators a hive soul? Are they a
specific soul?
Someone put my phone number on a circular for a funeral. Nightmare for a month. Oh, no. What about Dr. Weir and the other replicators in the Pegasus? We're gonna have to do a little bit of a deep dive into that one. I think this one's interesting. Yeah. Shoes have souls. Well, damn it, Peter, you got you got us all. Matt will save money on a wedding by joining Stargateism, but of course. So in your pyramid scheme, do we enter as Jaffa, then go up levels to Ori, then Nox all the way up to Ascended?
I don't know.
It's not a bad idea. Okay, here you are, Matt. You're part of our religion already. Don't worry. We're all getting the tax breaks.
We're all priests. I'm a priestess, I guess, for me.
Just watch out for radiation. Because apparently radiation will do a priestess kind of crazy. Actually, you're not made of plants. We did figure out she's a plant person, so that makes sense. Which that alone was like, huh?
Yeah.
The original Asgard with souls are dead. The Asgard we know are just echoes. Could they have ascended when they died? Is another
Only
question.
If they had become spiritual enough, and we don't know. Because isn't something with ascension like, like Daniel lit that candle or whatever, so now he could ascend or whatever it was.
All you got to do is light that candle.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt and anti-derivative Jill and anybody else joining us real quick. We have been talking about this. We lost the plot for a little bit and got lost talking about souls and souls and Stargate and what the hell is a soul and would it work with replicators? Does it work with clones and Asgards?
Right.
What is what with both? So on and so forth.
Yes.
The crazy topic came from this fun little graphic we've been talking about here. If you could have the abilities of any one of these folks right here, if you put on their mask, quote unquote, who would you choose and why? We kind of gave a few different reasons. Sarah was saying Hathor and Merlin. And we kind of all agreed the Nox and the Jaffa would be good. I kind of did go Wraith initially too, because the Wraith are just kind of cool and fun. But obviously, you'd have cool powers prior-wise. Asgard-wise, you're either dying or helping people, like Cold Warrior, kind of mindless. No Slice alone. According to Daniel, apparently there are no rules about ascending when you do it yourself. Howdy, howdy. How do you do it yourself? I don't know how that works, but there has to be a way to do it yourself.
That's what I was saying. Like, is it the light the
Someone
candle?
Started the whole thing. Yeah, that might be
a new thing to add to our religion. You have to light a candle.
You have to have a candle lit at all times, unless you lose your spirituality. Then you're no longer in the church if the candle goes out.
Right. You're excommunicated.
We're gonna have one of those things where you just keep putting the candle top on top of a new candle, and just have a giant like wax figure over a couple years after.
Yep.
Jill is saying, "Say Matt," and I'm also an introvert, so I like the cloaking capabilities of the Nox. And Matt said, honestly, probably the Nox. They're still human-like, no clones. They have magic hands and have not, as far as we know, created any death bugs like the Wraith. Or the worst death bugs, the things that kept turning Teal'c into a freaking cocoon and all that, too.
Bane. Well, I don't know. Did they ever name what those insects were? I don't think they did.
I don't think so. But not necessarily the best episode in the world, but creepy.
That was the worst of season 4? 3? Something like that. Anyway.
I think so. Because that's the same season as the hippie stuff, right? And we chose that episode over the hippie episode, I believe, as the worst. Yeah. I might be misremembering.
I like the hippie episode, so I don't know why.
I like it too, but
it's one of the best. It's like fan favorite.
Thought of. Yeah, it's just never like thought of like super well, which is odd.
Yeah.
Big honking bug.
Yeah. Yes.
You can ascend yourself by reaching a point of spiritual enlightenment. He means without the assistance of other ascended beings. So basically how the ancients originally did it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it is full self-acceptance or something like that, maybe?
I don't know, just becoming very spiritual, being in touch with the universe and your own soul, and
in SGA, there are a bunch of ancients.
Being able to see beyond the 3D, I guess, or something,
Yeah, it is just it's kind of obviously a concept that meditation and stuff kind of goes through. Spirituality goes through nowadays still too. I'm gonna try it right now. Just kidding. I will just fall asleep. With that, or try to force yourself to ascend as much as you can. But, the Nox definitely, I think, are the best bet here. Getting back here real quick, going and blah blah blah. But the Jaffa as well. The Jaffa would give you the semblance, at least, of a normal human life, but with a little bit of an elongated time span, as well as some good healing abilities.
Right, but it comes at the cost of being dependent on
a bug, a
On
creepy bug that's growing.
is it Tritonin? Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
Tritonin
I
or
guess.
a
Yeah.
larval Gould. Yeah.
Woo! That's a fun existence, but also it's not a bad existence either. It's just thinking about that one aspect is like, well, okay, Tritonin is essentially space insulin in a way, like that wouldn't be the worst. But to be completely dependent on it, because I feel like it's far more
Right.
of a necessity for them than insulin is for, I guess, your average diabetic would be. Like Tritonin is,
Right.
they need it in a big way.
Yeah.
Not to say, of course, diabetics don't need insulin in a big way, but they exacerbated in the show for a reason to kind of like prove the point of it. Tritonin just gave them back an immune system. Once they were free of the Gould larva, their long life and strength went with it.
Oh, it was just the Gould that gave them that ability. Yeah. No, you're right, Matt.
No.
Yeah, because I thought wasn't there a whole thing of like
Teal'c would be
Teal'c
dead.
felt like he went through this whole depression because he was like weaker.
Well, they lose some of their strength, but they don't lose their long life, or Teal'c would be dead.
Well, yeah, but
survived 50
he
years.
already had gained long life in the years that he had the.
But wouldn't it still be the
Because that's
larva?
why he got the gray streak in his hair, right?
Well, he would have
He
gotten that, I
aged.
think, after 50 years anyway. Like,
Right.
Braytak has aged, and he's got to be a
Yeah.
not significantly larger age, but, I think he's like 50.
I just wonder if
50
they
years older,
they
50 years older.
stored up extra years of life that are now being used up, but at a slower rate than like an average human.
So I guess React only lived to be like 100 maybe versus like 150 or 200. Oh, okay. What I mean is, if say React was given perfect example as we're talking about him.
Yeah.
If say React was given Tritonin from his young age after having a symbiote, he wouldn't live to be 150 like his dad. Okay. See, you've got a link. Come explain some of this. We're an hour 45 into it. It might be a little hard just to get going on a whole nother topic here.
Yeah.
And we did start a little late, of course. Already had your exactly right, because Teal'c is the oldest Stargate character. Yeah, because he does surpass Braytak going past that. But there's got to be, obviously they don't give us 100% of a clear picture on how Tritonin works. They give us a pretty good picture because we kind of get to see the experimentation as they're implementing it into more and more Jaffa. And T'Pol and the rest of her community. I never remember her Stargate name. But T'Pol and everybody.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if I 100% agree on it either. But that would be a fun thing to talk about, a good video essay to do there. Is Tritonin something that would continue to give that long life? Why would it not? If not, why would it if it does? And if it does, and we're kind of on the wrong track and it actually does continue to extend life, why not give it to other beings? Can humans take it too? Or can we make a synthetic version of it to give to humans to kind of extend life as well? Is that kind of like a fountain of youth almost?
It'd be interesting to explore that. Like how really different are, I mean, I know the Jaffa have that, the pouch or whatever, but how different are they aside from that, how different are they from humans, aside from, the enhancements that brought?
Originally, they were humans, weren't they? And they were brought by the Gould across
and
to
then
turn into.
Right. And then it'd be interesting to know, like, how did that whole system become to be? Like how did the Gould evolve that system? In a way, it's like they're part of their reproductive cycle, right? Where like the youth are, the larval Gould have to live in Jaffa to develop. Anyway.
Good, like, I mean, just food for freaking thought, like freaking, hey, good stuff. Matt just said again on Tritonin, Teal'c said this: as soon as I began to take it, things changed. I felt my capability was being compromised, but I said nothing, hoping the effects were only temporary, and my strength would return. And then 2 minutes later, he said, "My strength has returned." I'm kidding. I have no idea, but like, yeah.
Yeah, because they're recreating whatever the chemicals are in the Goa'uld. They obviously release chemicals into their bodies. Chemicals or proteins or whatever it is, they somehow able to. But is the Tritonin, are they making a synthesized version of it, or are they getting it from?
I think Joe did just say it was, a synthetic chemical like insulin. Okay. So, I mean, obviously it's already synthesized, but you can resynthesize what you need to make it for human or for whoever. Like, that's interesting. Because this was my understanding of it, Popcorn. This is the understanding that I just before we started this conversation is like, I thought it continued to extend lives, just not as strong as a symbiote would.
That's kind of my
thought. Yeah. Okay.
It was just a weaker. Yeah.
So it is the immune system, which very well could be. Yeah, they're basically human beings with those pouches. The pouches is probably what.
Right. They kind of evolved to be dependent on. To become dependent on them, or the Goa'uld did something to force them to be dependent.
Yeah, like maybe the pouch actually like secretes the right chemicals inside the body to not only. Oh yeah, maybe the pouch is what actually lets them live long, because that's what gestates the Goa'uld. And the Goa'uld is obviously little Junior. Is always the person that is repairing Teal'c and stuff. Obviously, they can't like repair their body as well, and maybe there is some kind of healing factor to the pouch itself. But maybe the pouch itself is what gives them that longevity, and the Tritonin is just that synthesized version.
It's the goo that's in the pouch.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Like it's always nasty to look at and think about. Also cool is that the breathable oxygen from the abyss, and I'm just picturing that essentially like little larva Goa'uld placenta, essentially just hanging out in there, like.
Yeah. Or does the larva secrete the goo, kind of make their own little pouch within the pouch? I guess
it's like the waste or like a spider web almost. Remember, the queen died to make the original chemical.
The Tok'ra queen.
Oh, that's right. See, they need to go get Hathor back. So the immune system thing is suppressed by the Goa'uld inside. The Tritonin, I think, is supposed to be like a faux immune system.
Right, because the Goa'uld is basically providing their immunity. Whatever substances it creates has become their immune system.
Huh. In the hopes evolution gives future to follow a natural one. Yeah, for the Tritonin.
Yeah.
Because they still got to have the pouch, and the pouch is part of them. So what does the pouch do? I guess it's just
an incubation thing, but I think there's proteins or substances that are produced that give them an immune system, and I think the healing powers and stuff like that. I think it's all geared towards protecting the larval Goa'uld.
Because the pouch is closed up, that
and so making them,
the opening in their stomach closed up, right? Not necessarily like the pouch. Like the pouch is still inside of them. That's
Yeah,
got
I
to
think
be a
so.
good chunk of their insides, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so in. It
It's
was
like a
indicated by
second
Major.
stomach or something like that size.
Yeah, like in Star Wars, where your Powin or whatever has your two hearts, and guess what? This dude got stabbed, but he's back here because he's still got an extra heart left, and
Yeah. Yeah.
This is Stargate Wiki. Okay, it was indicated by Major Samantha Carter that due to the fact that Tritonin replaced the Jafa's need for a symbiote, Teal'c and Braytak's symbiote patches began to close up. Well,
Right.
yeah, but
That
again,
makes
like
sense.
not
Yeah.
necessarily inside of them. It would close up from like now you don't want to be able to reach inside your stomach. Like
Yeah.
that's where I got from that. Like the big old X on their body is probably closing up, not the actual like pouch inside shrinking up and shriveling, and then
Right.
goes out the bowels a couple days later or something. Like I thought it was like a legitimate just like close, Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it would probably like atrophy, would like kind of, but I mean, it would still be there, but it might just like kind of shrink down because it's not being used. But
Well, after a few generations,
mm-hmm.
it would
Yeah,
kind
would
of act
they
like an appendix.
evolve back to what they were?
Kind of, or yeah, you would hope. Just
Mm-hmm.
like Matt put in here earlier, in the hopes of evolution gives future Jaffa a natural
Mm-hmm.
one. Yeah, Well, for a backup topic today,
Yeah.
we got some good stuff out of it.
Yeah, we did. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The Gould didn't really care about appropriate space. It wouldn't surprise me if they were just chilling in the stomach lining.
So we've learned what Asgards have souls, and SciTrek is now a religion.
There we go. It's not Stargateism. It's SciTrekism. Surprise. Everything
No, you're right.
Stargate.
It should be Stargateism. That's what we're.
Yeah, Stargateism is the one that'll actually get the 10,000 signatures across everywhere, probably. What about Hathor
Hashtag
making pouches?
Stargateism.
Oh, what a, did oh, because Hathor gave.
Oh, right. Yeah. Maybe she does she have the ability to like, but is it like she just cuts them open and it's just there is no pouch, it's just the open cavity of your abdomen? Or somehow does she do something that like some, I don't know, genetic altercation, something that causes your body to like reform to that? To
Well, because
Anyway, they
Nirtu
don't
had the
even get
ability to
into
do
that. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, damn. Because Nirtu totally said that. Are you sure? Oh god, popcorn. We're not calling it Stargasm. We cannot.
No.
Every convention would have
Stargateism.
been, yeah,
Yeah.
her magical belt.
Yeah.
Would Hathor had like a Batman belt or something? Is that what it was? Is Merlin ascended or not? Merlin was ascended and then kicked
He was
out.
kicked out, yeah. I think him
Someone
and
grab a
was
mom.
Morgan Le Fay also. I don't know. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. And David said, what about the sarcophagus idea, which I believe he said a minute ago was, what about a sarcophagus in the Fountain of Youth aspect of things where,
right.
This cat is like wheezing. Are you alive? What is going on? It's just like, you okay
But
right here?
the sarcophagus creates like a high, right? And you get addicted to it. And part of the reason
Well,
they say that they become so evil is like it messes with your head.
and it takes your ability
Mhm.
to not reason, to like be a good
Mhm.
person, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Again, Daniel went through that. And
Yeah, and I guess he
didn't end
did
well.
be a good person.
Yeah.
Where is it? I can't find the. Oh yeah, there it is. Didn't the sarcophagus heal you and extend your life.
Yeah.
All they have to do is stop taking your personality. That's right. It just takes your personality.
Yeah, because you get anyway.
And the ghoul don't necessarily have a personality because they have all that
Daniel.
shared memory
Ask
anyway.
Daniel. Yeah. There Didn't Daniel also become kind of Hathor's mate, basically? Because at the end, like Frasier was like, "Oh, I'll take DNA." You know, when the babies are all dead, and she picks one up and is like, "We'll examine the DNA." And Daniel's like, "I think you'll find mine or whatever." And Jack says, "Ew." It's just funny.
Yeah. I can't believe. I mean, honestly, I thought this was gonna be like a little fun, like hour stream. Just like, okay, we got a fun game. Let's jump in. We have gone through a lot of this one.
I don't know where we've like.
It's still kind of correlated back to this in a way, which is good.
Yeah.
But what? Oh, then Ronan and the Wraith enzyme. That's
just we just can't. You don't want to open that, but yeah, there's the whole Wraith thing, you know. Do the Wraith have souls? I don't think we touched on that. I guess they do. I don't know if they're good souls, but anyway. I think you're quiet, or am I?
no.
You?
I was just thinking.
Oh.
I was thinking like,
Okay.
do.
Oh.
Obviously, we always do this, but do they have to have souls, even though they came from insects? They're definitely like a higher being.
They're a hybrid of the insects and humans, basically, right? More or less.
Yeah. Wouldn't a sarcophagus heal a pouch? It's got cat hair everywhere now.
I think if there was a living Goa'uld in there, I don't think it would, because that's part of their natural anatomy, so to speak. So I don't think it would heal it because it's like it's supposed to be there. Which then, how do the sarcophagi know that? I guess, but anyway.
What would happen if you? That's honestly a good video thing too. What would happen if a Jaffa on Tritonin got into a sarcophagus?
Oh yeah, it would be an interesting question. I don't think. Do we ever see that even in the movie?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
What would happen?
Is like Daniel and his wife the only humans to use sarcophagus?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sarcophagus. Sorry, trying to spell sarcophagus as fast as I can. Heal pouch? Question mark. I think that's enough to jog the memory of the conversation. Yeah. We saw it in the episode Hathor. Check out your Furlings theory.
Oh, his Furlings theory that the Furlings developed the quantum mirror. Because you have to scroll up. What does he say?
Is it still Treybone said it too?
Yeah.
What about Hathor making pouches? Found it. Okay. I totally missed this. Have a theory that the Furlings were the ones who built the quantum mirrors. When Daniel goes to the alternate reality, the controller looks just like the Furlings controller Mayborn used in Paradise Lost.
Enter Furlings. If Stargate comes back, they got to give us Furlings, right? Got to.
It's a necessity. Read my comment above, Harris. Hello, above, right here, or we saw in the episode Hathor. Yes, the sarcophagus. Oh! I found it. This is an insane theory, though, Treybone.
Okay.
Yeah. souls are a religious
Right.
construct. That could be part of that video as well. Like, what is that? And is it just religions trying to define something that I guess that's just part of it? I don't
Define
know.
what makes us us. What is our, each have our own energy, personality. Is that a soul, or is that just our brains, electrical impulses in our brains, or whatever? Yeah.
Because that's how the Asgard would think of it,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
yeah.
that's how their approach would be.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think, even if they had souls, I don't think they would ascend, because I don't think they believe in any of that. I think they're atheistic.
Agnostic at like
Mm-hmm.
if there is any kind of spirituality at all, it would be agnosticism. Like
Right.
it
Mm-hmm.
would be like, yeah, there's something, we don't know what it is, so we're gonna go find out what it is and go learn. I guess it seems like their approach.
Right. They
Which
just
I kinda like
didn't
that.
care to, I think, explore that. They were into other things.
Yeah. Okay, but back to this is because this is a little. I thought we were about to be done, and we just here we are. Once we get the pouch, you are a Jaffa.
Mm-hmm.
So now
I'm gonna
Jack
have
is
to
a
like
Jaffa?
step away for a minute and be right back.
Yeah, no
So,
worries. We're at 2 hours. After this little thing, we might have to hop out of here pretty quickly just for the sake of it, because I know we started late today as well. So
yeah, right.
probably not the worst idea to get
I'll
moving
be
and
back
grooving.
in a minute.
Okay. The sarcophagus heals a pouch. That's how Jack was healed when he was turned into a Jaffa, but he didn't have a symbiote. We saw it in the episode Hathor. The thought process there that now arises, is Jack now a Jaffa, and that healed his pouch, like Tony was saying, yeah. Or did it say you are a baseline human? Like, honestly, who knows how the sarcophagus technology works alone? A Jaffa is not a different species. They're just humans with pouches. They aren't born with them. Oh, that's a good point. How does Jack do crunches with the pouch? um. Well, what? So now my thought process is, if Jack jumps into the sarcophagus, yeah, yeah, the whole thing going back to Chulak and his wife's lover betraying them and all that kind of stuff. But and this big old ceremony, of course, all that. But if you jump into a sarcophagus, and just with the situation that Jack was in, of course, does that mean he is totally a Jaffa now, and that sarcophagus healed his pouch, and now he's got a little bit of a healing thing inside of him? And then that brings up the point: would the pouch be the thing that heals you versus having an actual larva in there? Does he have a little extra longevity because of that? Like, what? But also,
Why is my thing all weird?
it thinks you. I think you're green. It looks like you're. I think it's trying to green screen you.
I've ascended.
Sarah has ascended. She's Dr. Daniela Jackson today. If I'm thinking with the pouch stuff, if Jack is in the sarcophagus with Jack specifically, if longevity lasts more than 4 hours, does the pouch heal inside of him? And if that's the case, does he get extra longevity? Does he get a little bit of a healing powers? Is he like literally partially Jaffa now? Or because maybe his body isn't conjoined with the pouch truly just yet, does that mean the pouch would just kind of like, the sarcophagus would kill the pouch off? Yeah, so he never got the benefits of a symbiote. So would the pouch literally just shrink up and kind of dissipate? Is that what the sarcophagus is healing would do to Jack, or would it try to heal the symbiote and the not the symbiote, the pouch itself? Oh no.
I'm trying to fix it. It's done this before, and like, okay, sorry.
It's okay. My backlight was on for 3 years, and I thought it looked better than just this. And I was like, oh no, simple is better sometimes. Oops. Lighting is impossible. Not impossible. I lied. There are very good lighters out there, but it is difficult. So I'd imagine it was healed based on the fact we've seen it. So technically, is Jack a Jafar or not? If he has an active pouch in his body, even if the active pouch is not larval filled. Okay, it leveled out. There you are.
Yeah, it needs a minute, I guess. I think so then she was creating Jafas to be carriers of her babies.
Okay.
So once the larval thing was out, then the sarcophagus would probably heal, because maybe the presence of that would prevent it from healing. The presence of a Goa'uld wouldn't allow it to heal. But if there isn't one there, then it would just be like a wound.
Yeah. He has a pouch, but does he still have a pouch? Because yeah.
Maybe we may never know.
For a few hours compared to the. Okay. He was in the hot tub with all the larvae, but one didn't go in, so he never had his immunity suppressed. Yeah, this is like one of those deep dives where you.
It's like I don't know if it's a detail we necessarily need to have totally fleshed out. It's just something happened. That was the end of it. They moved on.
Yeah, fun food for thought though. This one would be a good one to make a video on. I watched this episode the other day. If you want to make the video on it, come on. It is fresh in your mind, but honestly, it's just a good video idea in general. We should make one for the channel one way or another. It's written down now, so it will. It needs to happen. It shall happen. Jill just said, could Teal'c use the sarcophagus? I don't make videos. You made some great ones, sir. Don't be silly. But I like to be silly.
Maybe. I guess we don't. It's not really clear. It's possible. But then why didn't they do that? I mean, that's one thing. Doesn't the SGC have a sarcophagus? They don't have one?
I think they have one. They did at a certain point, but did they have to give it
Did it get destroyed or
destroyed?
Apophis took it or something? I don't know. I'm just told. I have no idea.
Shouldn't the Tok'ra have Jaffa? I think it's just against. I think almost like they're where the Goa'uld are like, hey everybody, we're your religion. I feel like the Tok'ra are religious Goa'uld in a way, and that might go against the religion, even though they might be okay with like a small sect of Jaffa, to be like, oh yes, I don't know, people that don't necessarily want to be Tok'ra but would like their children to be, or something like that. Some like weird little sect of people or something.
Yeah, is there people that like volunteer to do it? Whereas the Jaffa are almost kind of enslaved, or as good as,
They could have, and we just didn't really see, they didn't like get us hung up on it necessarily. They had one in Hathor, and it blew up in the gate room just after Jack was healed. I tend to blow up. Okay. The lack of whatchamacallit, sarcophagi. Is this part of the Stargate SciTrek Church? The Book of Matt.
Yes.
Matt has a few chapters in this thing. And he's Bilboing it. There's a journey. Which part of it? I don't know. An unexpected journey. He's on there and back again. I don't know. I'm trying to make Lord of the Rings references.
Yeah, There and Back Again, I think, is what he named his book. I think, yeah.
Right? Like There and Back Again, like a Hobbit's Tale or something like that. I'm
Mhm.
trying to remember just
Yeah,
the page
something like
on the
that.
screen.
Yeah.
Does Jack having a pouch change Jack and Sam? And I don't think so. I don't necessarily think so. Maybe if Sam still had Jolinar and Jack was to continue to have a pouch, that would create an interesting dynamic, maybe. But I don't.
Yeah.
The Tok'ra didn't like the Jaffa. Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Obviously, because they have been getting slaughtered by the Jaffa for the entirety of
Right, yeah.
however long we've known them. I don't know. I don't know if they control Jaffa. It would make total sense for them too, but they do actively dislike them as well.
Right. I think the Tok'ra are more about free will and not like power hungry world domination or universe domination.
Yeah, free will, but they like to manipulate.
Oh yeah, they had their own agenda, like for sure. But yeah.
Yeah. McPuffin Muffin, I love that name. I just saw that Dune Part 3 is coming out December 2026. That was not an actual word. 2026. Anyone here excited for it?
Well,
No,
yeah.
not at all. I think we're actually so mad that it's happening. They no. We want Dune. We want Dune so bad. Give us the Dune. Give us Denis Dune all day. I am excited.
Matt really means it though.
Matt might actually mean it. He's not
He's
the biggest.
never seen Dune, probably.
Have you seen Dune? I feel like
Probably
he actually
not.
went to go see Dune. Wait, what?
never
Why?
sees
No, just being
anything.
sarcastic. We're just joking. We're just joking. We love Dune.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt's never seen Dune.
He's never seen anything. He says he's a sci-fi person, but he never watches any movies. Whatever. Okay.
Well, he's our sci-fi TV man. He's our TV.
Yeah, Doctor Who.
extraordinaire.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. As much as I would love to talk movies with the man, and I've tried many a times, and he's like, I didn't watch that. It's like, oops. It just cracks me up. He couldn't be a Stargate wiki if he was watching a bunch of movies,
Right.
you know? I like TV series.
We just need to create a Stargate AI. Like, what if the Stargate got artificial intelligence? So you didn't need DHDs anymore. You could just tell it and it would know.
I don't like it. Immediately, I don't like it. Because that Stargate's going to totally open it up to like some hellish portal and allow something awful to come in just because someone said something crappy about it. Like walking behind the Stargate, you know, some like Walter's going to be in the back say, oh, this crappy thing, and like
I am
hit it real quick.
dialing the Hellgate. Here you go.
See you, humanity. If the Stargates gain sentience, they would immediately all try to ascend to go back to their creators. That's actually kind of cool. And the plot would be to pull the plug before they all disappear. Oh, God.
Or they decide that they don't like all this traveling between this instantaneous travel, and somehow they become their own society that now we have to make a treaty with and blah, blah, blah.
They're essentially Leviathan in that manner. Just stationary Leviathan. And like a Leviathan.
Again, we're getting to AIs then are, you know, sentient beings. And do they have
so people have literally, I thought that was I wrote all that on the back of a bill. I thought that was a like a big piece of paper. Oops. It should be fine. It should be fine.
Just whoever gets the bill is going to be like, what's all the Stargateism? What is that?
We'll have the new biggest fan of SciTrek just because they're like, what are androids human? Replicators? What is a soul? Asgard? Do they have souls? Like someone reading this would be like, what is going on in this person's brain? Too damn much sometimes. Honestly, if the Stargates gain sentience, does SGA have AI responsible for Atlantis?
Ooh.
Who knows?
It
Because
would
they
be
did.
kind of interesting thing of like, you could make an AI that runs the systems and maybe it becomes self-aware.
Well, technically, put on that.
Yeah.
The Assure and Replicators obviously made their own version of Atlantis to,
Mhm.
base off of their creators and do all that. They are all
Mhm.
metal beings. Would
Mhm.
their version of Atlantis also be a living, sentient place?
The city becomes a living thing. That would be really cool.
We'd totally
But like
destroy it.
it'd be like AI based, not like a life form. Unless they
Yeah.
wanted to retcon something, but that would be lame. I don't think that would work.
Well, are the Assure and Replicators a life form?
Yeah.
Well, then wouldn't their version of Atlantis also be?
Atlantis is just a giant replicator.
Essentially, right?
Right.
That's kind of what they made. Well, their version of Atlantis, I guess.
Does Atlantis fix itself?
No.
Okay.
Their version did, I believe.
Mhm.
Or they had obviously they're just metallic beings that kind of do their stuff.
I don't think they did any AI in any of the Stargates, did they? Oh, SGU with those drones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um,
Um,
and in SG1, you remember was it I don't know if that was AI. Maybe that was a little just a species
could
of
the
people.
replicators be considered AI?
I think so. That's kind of where my
Yeah.
first thought went to was I think both
Yeah.
replicators are.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot.
The
That was
Avenger virus, but didn't Baal have something to do with that Avenger virus? We find out. I don't remember.
Huh. But yeah, no, that's also interesting.
Mhm.
Anyway, continuing because y'all keep giving us just so many interesting, crazy things. Replicators and insurance are 100% AI. Cool.
Yeah. Mhm.
Where was Mike asked, why do the Wraith have teeth? And when SGA hit the replicator world, why didn't this city dissolve? Why do the Wraith have teeth? Because they're human, I guess. And also, bugs kind of have fangs. So maybe just DNA worked its way in there somehow and then, found that
Right.
happy medium somewhere. I guess if a Wraith is a happy medium.
Can they suck life source that way? I don't know. Maybe not. That'd be too vampiric.
Yeah.
So I don't think, but
I did that and I meant to go with you had to have the teeth there, when SGA hit the replicator world, why didn't the city dissolve? Great question. I have no idea. That would make sense as well. Maybe it's not a replicator. If it is a replicator,
I don't think the city is a replicator. It's just a thing to throw out there.
that would
Mhm.
secure that. Yeah.
All right, I gotta go because I gotta go pick up my daughter from school, and I'm just seeing what time it is, and I'm like, crap, I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm surprised we made it this long, and this is crazy. I will go through these comments real quick with everybody, and then hop out of here myself because I do need to get started on my day as well. It is only 1:30 around here. Yeah, no, thanks for hanging and talking. Good freaking Lord, there's been a lot of good stuff to talk about today.
Yep.
We're starting a religion.
Yeah, I guess that's what we decided. We're starting Stargateism,
But you have to be able to sing to join the religion. You have to light a candle for the spiritual aspect,
Right.
and for the non-spiritual aspect, you have to be able to sing the words to the Stargate theme. We don't have to though. We're all the priests. That's if you're a priest, you don't have to do that. Matt,
Right.
we're good.
Right.
But yeah, if you gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go. All right.
You know,
See ya. All right. Have fun. I'll be listening. All right. Bye.
see ya. We'll do Sci-Fi Sunday, of course, and then Farscape on next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Adios.
Bye.
But McPuffin Muffin here. I hope we actually do get a new Stargate, either show or movie, to be honest. It's been such a long time now. Bright side to that is I can soon introduce my own son to it. That's going to be good. It's going to be really fun to actually be able to have Stargate, like Star Trek and like Star Wars, have a new generation to it. That's why they need to continue it, like almost more so than anything else, is if you do the hard reboot, you have everybody that was wanting to do this now cautious, trepidatious, wondering, like, is this going to actually do what we want it to do? Is it going to be anything like that series of old? Is it going to be as joyous as it? Is it going to be as funny as it? Is it going to be as cool or badass in certain moments as it? So on and so forth. I really, 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 obviously, we all want them to continue and have a continuation versus that reboot. Even a small, I'm not a hard reboot, a soft reboot wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But it would be good to have a continuation throughout that soft reboot nonetheless, if that is the case. Because it's awesome. I'm so happy I found this within the last 5 years, and you'll see how much time I devote to it now. Like, Stargate is amazing. And speaking of Stargate, here's their Stargate wiki. So much destruction has been created using our bodies as a vehicle of war. We will have no more part in it. Goodbye. Then they all ascend and Milky Way slowly dies. Would AI Stargates look down on earlier versions of Gates? Maybe, though. I would like to propose a Stargate comedy where a Gould enters a sheep. It would be Barmy. God. Do two Stargate, AI, SGC, and SGA separately? Like have an AI Stargate at the SGC and SGA operates how it has been operating? That'd be kind of interesting. The Ancient's track record with artificial intelligence is not that great. They made the assurance. So I don't think the city has any. Stargate AI sounds like the cards from Hot Tub Sounds Machine. Yeah. Stargate AI. Stargate AI. Stargate AI. Stargate AI. Kind of, yeah. I was going a little too Hot Tub Time Machine on that one. Please remind me, but I can't really remember any good AI episodes in any of the series, SG1, SGA, and SGU. Well, all the Replicator episodes are technically AI, you know. God, I'm saying it weird now. What three AIs, one Atlantis, SGC, and Midway Station with three AIs, one each base? That'd be a cool way of actually seeing that happen, you know? Because then it would be much more seamless. In Midway, it makes a lot of sense because it's like it makes it seamless versus okay, dial in, wait a few minutes, dial out. You could almost do it in half the time if you just had an AI at a Midway Station. I like that. That's really cool. Replicate. Yep. I said good episodes. I see. Every time something breaks in SA, I said, who's going to repair that? Stargate Atlantis. Huh. Scroll up for 2 questions. Oh, yeah. We got those, though. I'm just now in the process of scrolling down. Here's a question. Stargate Atlantis AI, how is that different from replicator AI-driven replicators hell-bent on punishing the parents? That would be something to play with, honestly. Stargate Atlantis would be self-protective. It'd be interesting. Night, Peter. Damn it, popcorn. It's funny though. It's too funny. Hypothesis: the Wraith of teeth because the bugs incorporated DNA from the host humans that they fed onto their own DNA, thus teeth. That's what I was thinking as well. I'm with your hypotheses there. Stargate. It's a great big world. I think. Of course. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for hanging. And thanks for hanging, everybody. Can I do rapping instead of singing? Yes, please. It would be better, honestly. Like, the words to the song are pretty bad. Love the theme song, but the words to it. Not all software is AI. Example, when Atlantis automatically rose to the surface because of power constraints, that was just a constraint check, not AI. Totally, yeah. But AI would make things seamless, you know. But yeah, both theme songs are great. Oh, SGA, not D. Both are great. I think I prefer the Atlantis theme song, but SG1's theme song is just ingrained and baked into memory. You know, my prediction is it will come back as a series. It will last 2 seasons and they'll cancel it because that's just. Don't put that into the world. Don't put that into the world. Matt, 2 seasons on Amazon. They picked up by Netflix for another 3 seasons. There we go. There we go. We need the optimism to level it out there. 2 different point of views. 2 golds walk into a bar and one shouts, "I want whiskey." What's our Stargate religion hymns? LOL. We need one from every different like species that we've gotten from Stargate, and it needs to be like in their type of like tongue or dialect or whatever, you know, something crazy like that. But okay, we're nearing 2.5 hours on here, and I gotta go get the day moving a little bit. Thank y'all for hanging as much as y'all have. This has been a lot of fun. I know this was kind of our backup stream from the original plan for today. Jay was not able to make it on today. He did say he is down though, so we should be doing that one again soon. So we'll deep dive and do a little bit of an expose on old Jennifer Salke. Salke, I just had to say it that way, you know. At the rhyme, you know, Dr. Seuss in it sometimes. But yeah, I think Friday we'll be doing our Radical Wasteland podcast. I think it should be both of us. Greg, of course, is in the not Hollywood Fringe Festival, the New York City Fringe Festival at the moment with his play 3 Can Keep a Secret. And they had their first performance last night, which went really well, so that's really cool. I did post it into the community page and stuff, and if he can't come on Friday, we'll probably do an Adam Fall stream. That's probably a good idea. But yeah, that is the rest of the week for us here. And Sunday we will either be doing Chevron Awards and continuing those, possibly the last Chevron Award. And if not, we will probably be doing the Salky stuff. And there's a chance we might do that on like Saturday. We can do that on Saturday. If we get everybody together and everybody can and wants to come talk about it. That might even be a fun one to have, like, you know, maybe me, Jay, and Sarah start up and like start talking about it, and then have, if Matt's down and can come on, if Chillin and Quest or anybody else wants to come on, or Greg and Chazz and Stormy and anybody, you know, that wants to come on, we can do a little bit of like a council on it, and just talk about Amazon and the future of, you know. We'll call it the Sci Council or the Trek Council. Council Trek. We'll call it Council Trek. There it is. Hollowed are the Ori. Hollowed are the Ori. The Ori. The Ori. Him one. But yeah, that is it from me before I run the risk of rambling on. One more quick time. Maybe something on Saturday. We will keep you posted on that. If not, we will do a Sunday there. And do Sci-Fi Sundays, but we will see a for Radical Wasteland podcast on Friday, and it will either be Fallout based with some good news that has been kind of coming up the last few weeks, and maybe some Bethesda news in general too, and or we'll go on Adamfall and talk about some Adamfall. Yeah, I have it set up for next Wednesday currently, but it's just kind of as a placeholder. the latest date that this stream will be held for the Salky stuff is going to be next Wednesday. That would be the latest date. More likely going to take up Sunday instead, and just push back Chevron for another week. I would love to get it done Saturday if possible. It's just sometimes hard to get a crew together on Saturday, especially, when it's morning time over here and evening time in the UK, because, people like to have their Saturday morning kind of cartoons or Saturday morning hikes, Saturday morning whatever. People have different kind of routines and such, and then also Saturday evenings are kind of go out to the bar, go out to the town, go have dinner with the wife and kids, so on and so forth. So Saturday evenings can be kind of hard for the UK folk, of course. It's just trying to make it all to work out. So maybe Saturday will work out, maybe it won't. Those are our hang-ups and possibilities. But if not, Sunday is the much more likely chance there. And if that doesn't work out, Wednesday will be the latest that we will do that. But before then, Radical Wasteland podcast on Friday. And go back and watch all of our fun stuff. There's so many hours of craziness. There's a lot of good things to watch right now as well. So go watch something, and we'll talk about it on Sunday. And I believe that is it from me. That is it from Stargate Outpost. Sarah, of course, said her goodbyes a minute ago. Thank you again, Sarah. Because damn, we talked about some good stuff today. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. Council of the Puddle. Hey, ooh, Puddle Council. I don't know. We'll have to brainstorm that one. Actually, real quick, let me just see before we hop out of here. Let me look over on the SciTrek community page and see if we got any cool responses or out of the blue. Nox or Adria is kind of the responses we look like we're getting over on the actual community page for this question. But once again, as I leave, I pose the question, who are you out of these guys over here? Adios, y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you soon. Adios.